Okay, let's dive right in. We're all trying to figure out the secret to getting rich, aren't we? Well, today, we're going to look at a really fascinating and maybe a little controversial idea from a Korean book called The Having. It basically argues that the real secret isn't about saving every single penny or finding that one perfect investment. Nope. It's about changing how you feel about the money you already have. Just think about it for a second. The last time you bought something you really wanted, but maybe it was a bit of a splurge. How did you feel right after you swiped that card? For a lot of us, that first little jolt of excitement is almost immediately followed by this knot in our stomach, a feeling of anxiety, maybe even guilt. It's a super common and, honestly, a pretty stressful experience. And this quote from the book just nails that feeling perfectly. So there's this journalist, and she goes out and buys the latest, most expensive phone. She thinks it's going to make her look successful, but the second she buys it, she gets hit with this wave of anxiety. Ugh, was it too expensive? I could have gotten a cheaper one. And pretty soon, that anxiety just morphs into full-on regret. This is the classic scarcity mindset in action. You're totally focused on what you've lost, not on what you've just gained. So here's the radical idea that kind of flips the whole script. The book says that feeling wealthy isn't the result of having a bunch of money in the bank. It's the precursor. It suggests our emotional state, our whole energy around money, has to change first. And only then can our financial situation actually follow. I know, it sounds a little out there, but stick with me on this. To really define this feeling, the book introduces a concept from Thai culture called Kwam Rusuk Mang Mi, which basically translates to the feeling of having. Now, this isn't just about being happy. It's a very specific sense of abundance and satisfaction that you intentionally cultivate at the exact moment you spend money. It's about genuinely appreciating that you have the resources to get something you value. I know exactly what you're thinking right now. Hold on. Does this just mean go buy whatever you want and feel good about it, right? Is this just a free pass for reckless, wasteful spending? That's the number one objection, and the book makes a really, really crucial distinction here. And this table just illustrates that difference brilliantly. See, on one side, you have spending that creates what the book calls wealthy joy. This is when just spending for yourself on things you genuinely want or need. It creates this amazing feeling of abundance and gratitude. But on the other side, you've got wasteful spending. This is the stuff you buy because of what other people will think. You buy it to prove a point or just to keep up, and it always leaves you feeling empty, guilty, and with a sense of lack. One fills you up, the other totally drains you. To make this even clearer, let's use this great metaphor from the book. Imagine that everyone is born holding a glass. The size of that glass represents your potential for wealth. Now, sure, the sizes might be different. Some people are born with bigger glasses than others. That's just a fact of life. But the size isn't actually the most important part. What really matters is how you hold it. If you've got a scarcity mindset, you're constantly looking over at other people's bigger glasses, feeling like you're not enough. Your hand is unsteady with anxiety, and any wealth that comes your way just spills right out. But with a wealthy mindset, you focus on steadily filling your own glass, no matter what size it is. You're calm, you're confident, and your hand is steady, allowing that wealth to actually accumulate. So here's the key thing to get. This isn't magic, it's psychology. When you start to feel genuinely good about the money you spend, it kicks off this incredibly powerful positive feedback loop. That good feeling boosts your self-worth and your sense of gratitude. You become a more positive, more confident person, which naturally improves your relationships. And guess what? People with that kind of energy attract more opportunities. It's a virtuous cycle that just keeps building on itself. And this whole idea of focusing on your individual mindset, it's not just some abstract theory. It actually lines up with a major trend we're seeing in how wealth is created in the real world. In fact, some surprising data shows just how powerful this shift has become. Take a look at this data from Forbes. Back in 1996, only about 45% of the world's billionaires were self-made. The majority had inherited their wealth. But then you jump forward to 2014, and that number has completely flipped. Nearly 70% of billionaires were self-made. Now, this suggests that in our modern economy, the path to wealth is becoming less about where you start and way more about the drive and the mindset you bring with you. Now, this data doesn't prove the book's theory, but it sure does show that cultivating a powerful internal mindset, whether that's raw ambition or a feeling of abundance, is playing a bigger role than ever. So that leaves us with this one last pretty provocative question. We're all taught to work hard so that one day we can finally feel rich. But what if we've had it completely backwards this whole time? What if cultivating that feeling of abundance, that feeling of having, isn't the destination at all, but the actual starting line.